Yes, I'd like to yield 15 seconds to the chairman.
Yeah, I would just point out that the description of the committee's work by the member from New York might carry a little weight if he wasn't the same guy who in our last hearing said that social media companies only took action on 35% of the demands from the government. So this is a guy who thinks 35% censorship is okay, and now he's describing our
Will
work
the gentleman
as not
yield
productive.
for a question?
It's a
No.
gentlelady's time. I yield back.
No, I reclaim
That's a
my time.
mischaracterization of what I said.
You know, I find it incredible, the alternate reality that Representative Goldman is living in. I mean, he just stated that there has never been an occasion in which the White House, the Biden White House, has threatened or pressured White House social media companies to take down social media posts. But I have timestamps, I have emails, we come with receipts. I mean, February 6, 2021, 9:45 p.m., Rob Flattery, White House official demanding Twitter take down a parody of Finnegan Biden, Hunter Biden's adult daughter. And we have all the receipts on this. I mean, we can go over this over and over again, but it would be a waste of time. Denying reality, as my colleagues on the left continue to do, is a disservice to the American people. I cannot believe that this is where we are at. But I'm gonna jump right into this. We're trying to address essentially digital authoritarianism. That's what we're contending with. So I find it ridiculous that my colleagues on the left can only and will only talk about Donald Trump as though this is not a real issue that everyday Americans, Republicans, independents, Democrats are facing. So Ms. Richardson, while investigating these NSF grants and the NSF convergence research, was there any documentation or communication regarding the philosophical foundation of the language models being used in the AI tools?
Some of the grant descriptions themselves talk about areas that they are specifically interested in seeing, controlling, in discussing misinformation in. And these areas, some of these grants focused on election misinformation, some of them focused on vaccine misinformation. Yes.
Okay, so there was philosophical discussions about the language models themselves that these particular grant awardees would be using.
I think that a lot of these grant descriptions expressed exactly what they were going to be investigating.
Did they talk about open source language models as part of a requirement for this research?
Some of these grants they're analyzing different sets of data. Some of them wanted to do keyword searches to analyze what kinds of posts they were searching for.
But I think what we're getting at here, the heart of this, is that there was no clear guidance on the particular set of language models that they were supposed to be using. Ms. Richardson, have you been able to determine the political affiliations of the project leads?
Well, some of them, just based on what these, again, I'm just going based off of what the grants state publicly. The topics that they are considering seem to be targeting specific kinds of speech.
Okay. Now, the University of Michigan put together a slide deck that was submitted to the NSF. On the overview slide, the mission of their grant, as explained, was, quote, our misinformation service helps policymakers at social media platforms get good PR for their actions on misinformation by having a clear benchmark for outcomes and eliminating the need to defend internal procedures. Thanks. The slide deck also notes that they do things that we know work without backlash, and that, quote, we push responsibility for difficult judgments to someone outside of the company, end quote. It goes on to say, we get people off our backs for how we act on misinformation. And it goes on to say that we eliminate the need to defend specific procedures. Now, this is an NSF, taxpayer-funded project, and they say we eliminate the need to defend specific procedures as though accountability is more of a suggestion, more of a yellow light. So, Mr. Fong, Mr. Lukhanov, the NSF vision states that they, quote, strive to create a nation that leads the world in science and engineering, research and innovation to the benefit of all without barriers to participation. Given what I just told you about the University of Michigan's own worked product that was funded by US taxpayers, does it not seem like the mission of the NSF and the grants that they are funding are fundamentally at odds? And does this create concerns for the American people and the agencies for mission creep an infringement on constitutional rights. And I'm short on time, so short answers.
I think the mission of actually trying to seek out microaggressions shows it's a very unscientific idea that we can have an AI that can make that kind of cultural decisions about politeness norms and impose it on everyone else.
Thank you.
I can't comment directly on NSF, but just generally, a lot of these groups that claim to be nonpartisan, look at their record, they become partisan. They claim to represent science, they end up representing a corporate interest. They claim to be supporting and upholding facts, end up censoring true and accurate information. We just need a lot better guardrails for this type of thing, a lot better disclosure.
I appreciate that. I yield.